Oh, I just realized I've been skipping the dialogue. That does make me a little bit sad. Oh, we really need to create a codex for that somewhere. Someday. Okay. Tech, but it's probably, yep, Mystic or Tech, because what does an Nihilist do? Let's actually read this today. Okay, done. Alright, immune to armor breaks. La 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 la. Don't purify. It's the one that puts stifles on you. And messes with Nullify and Fate Seal. Which means that somebody like Kushala or Longshot is still fine. But otherwise, we probably want anti-unstoppable, but that is okay. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, we can bring Carl for the first one. Okay, looking at techs, we want somebody who's good against Scarlet Witch, so some kind of either non-crit, which we have plenty of, or poison immune, which we also have plenty of. What's the node here again? Okay, that's right, it's the heal block one. That's a little bit more annoying, but still fine. Haven't done that in a while. Do that. And then spam is just medium annoying, so let's go ahead and take Prowler. Where's my Prowler? There he is. I'm not in control of that, K-Dot. I'd be down for it. How's Cassandra 3.5 on defense? She seems tricky. She doesn't really have all that much that is reinforcing the trickiness, if that makes any sense. Like, her special one is not that difficult, but, like, unlike some other characters, there aren't things that make it difficult to push her to special 2, right? Or sorry, there aren't things that make it difficult to bait her special one. She doesn't have power gain. She doesn't have like any protection against power drain. She doesn't have any protection to her combat power rate. Um yeah. There's like defender strength is a complicated subject with a lot of layers to it. I do think 3.5 is pretty fair for her because like before anybody says but nodes, like that's what a 3.5 is. A 3.5 is somebody who is, oh god, what did I just unplug? Ah, okay. I unplugged my HDMI cord. Which one does this go into again? Guess we'll find out in a minute. Hey, Pablo. All right, was that the correct one? Maybe not. Maybe it's the other one. Nice. These capture cards were labeled on the top. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I did do cable management for my desk, but some of it has come undone because some of the cable management stuff just didn't hold has come off the desk already. So I need to redo some of it. That's annoying. But yeah, Defender design is nuanced. But what I was starting to say there, before I accidentally unplugged something, was that a 3.5, that does describe someone who has, like, some annoyance threats that make it a little bit harder to get the normal openings against them, has some ability to do damage to you, but, you know, doesn't block out all the ways that you can stop that damage. Doesn't really have the, like, the high level 5 out of 5 immunities to just a whole suite of stuff. But then can get really nasty on nodes, right? And it's why, and this is kind of now shifting towards me addressing my own team, it's why we have to be careful how many 3.5s we ship, right? Because all of those little nuances and annoyances are still things players have to learn, and those nightmare placements will be found, right? Especially in Alliance War. So 3.5 is not us saying a defender doesn't matter. A 3.5 is a real threat. It's just also several steps below a 4 or a 5, and usually significantly less protected. So I think that's kind of the main point. Hey, John, how's it going? Yeah, Spider-Woman being a 3.5 is another good example. And I think she's an interesting case because it's funny if you think about it, like how much of these defenders really is practice, right? Because Destroyer and Onslaught did not become weaker defenders when we put them in Everest content and asked people to like run at them a dozen times, right? They did not, their kits did not get weaker, but like suddenly one of the major threats being people not understanding their animations. And it's not like that animation stopped being a problem, right? Destroyer Special 2 still catches people, Onslaught Special 1 still catches people. But the degree to which it caught people in the engaged community went way, way down. I could see Cassandra's Special 2 and Spider-Woman's Special 1 being very much in that same space, right? Um, like those feel like defenders that we will get used to because they don't protect everything they do, but like both of them are definitely annoying. And I do think that like Spider Woman is an interesting one because I think if you're just trying to survive against her, outside of Alliance War with adding those extra nodes, I do think a 3.5 is actually pretty accurate. But she combines her threats with tempo disruptions that mean that she tends to pull more points off of you in battlegrounds, and then you take risks to try and make sure the fight is faster, and that leads to you doing dangerous things and leads to you dying. And so I think that leads to her feeling like more than a 3.5 in battlegrounds. But I don't think that means she actually is above a 3.5, or she's definitely not like a 4.5, right? You could talk me into considering her a 4, but like these numbers are not meant to capture all the nuance of this stuff. It's a rough rating, but this is kind of my point is yeah, we need to pay attention to the threes as well. There was a time on the team when the default defender rating was just kind of 3. All right, well, if we don't have a strong reason to do something else, just ship a 3. And I have been pushing back on that pretty hard for a while now because of the kinds of things we're talking about. And also because we just aren't perfect. And sometimes somebody comes in a little hot. And if our default is a 3 and a few characters in a row come in a little hot, then boom, that's when you, without us intending to be mean, still ship characters that lead to the player base going, oh no, too many defenders. Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I get annoyed by the tenor of the discussion because I think a lot of people come at this whole thing with like the basic assumptions that they like simultaneously say that we're bad at our job, but also that every defender that comes out hard is exactly as hard as we wanted them for all of these nefarious purposes, and also there's a bunch of greed behind it. Right? Like that's how you get people who say things like they can't help themselves. It's like, okay, thank you for being constructive. You can go sit over there. Um and so like I hate the way that much of the community engages with the defender discussion, but I do have sympathy for the substance of the complaints, and I am more on y'all's side than you will often realize from hearing me explain why things are happening the way they are, if that makes sense. A bit early for me to address that, K. Dot. Yeah, John, that is absolute. I called that out in the video. That is absolutely the scariest thing about her. Hey, Mr. VT. I think that is still Min trying to put a little bit too much of a linear razor on an abstract subjective number, but it's not a bad take. That is definitely one way to look at it. Agreed. Whoops, that was my fault. Didn't still have the incinerate up, unfortunately. How did he do that? Oh, he didn't do that. That was just Prowler's medium coming up short. All right, let's try that again. That was some nonsense. Hey, man. Hey, warrior. That was stupid. That's fine. Get it. That was my fault. That's gonna hurt. It's okay. Oh, we had way too much power. Yeah, that. Oh. That's alright. I don't mind taking this a couple times. It was good practice. It's the first fight. Yeah, that definitely was the intent, right, Darkness? She is a dark mirror to Charles. Let it fall off. Let it fall off. Come here. That was almost perfect, but we're just really not having a good time here thanks to the lack of heal block. It's okay, we'll get through it. Didn't get the falter up. That would have gone better. It's really difficult to line up everything you need in this fight. God, his medium against spam stash back. Very tough. Come on. Take it. Yeah, the Octate Crucible is going to be interesting for sure. Hitting him. Power drain is so annoying. No words on that timing. Yeah, but... Hey, Frequency. Yeah, I'm generally feeling better. There's still a decent chance that I'll cough before the end of this, but I'm not draining constantly anymore. The mental fog is a little better, and this is probably the first time in 4 or 5 days that I didn't immediately... Whoops, that was my bad. Refill my Mucinex cold and flu the second that it was up. Oh, shush up, Matt. You realize you don't get better rewards for doing it in the first 24 hours it's out, right? Okay, I see what people mean about the double paths in the second half. This is gonna get old. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna try something a little stupid. The thing there, Jency, is that unlike unlike wanting people to actually move in battlegrounds early in the season, we don't see any benefit in y'all burning through content faster. There's no way in hell you're getting radiance for that. I still think that his art was not well done, honestly. Like, he looks really cool, but just the tuning on his hitboxes is silly. Like, that first hit disappears so long before it hits the opponent. What the heck is that supposed to be? You and me both, Matt. You and me both. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, man. I still stand by it. I think that is trying to impose, like, too clean a linear rule on something that is just not designed for that. Like, there's no magic way to describe the balance attributes so that suddenly, perfectly, they make sense on a 5-point scale with half-point gradations, right? They're not going to suddenly line up against every single critique, because that's not the point of them. The point of them is to be scores on a baseball card. The point of them is to give you a rough idea in the general scope of the game, not in every specific. And that just means that they're not going to line up sometimes, and we have to be okay with that. Hey, Natasha, do you mind throwing specials? Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh god, Matt, not you too. Oh, I don't even... It's not about Ghost Rider. It's just... Saying Blade needs a buff with a viable Ghost Rider in the game is just freaking laughable. Oh, you mean the vampire that isn't actually a vampire, John? The one who can walk in the sun and is not related to the actual curse of vampirism? Hmm. I mean, he rips through Falcon like nobody's business. I think that one's fine. You know I'm going to turn that around on you, John. His title is Vampire Hunter, not people who are sometimes called vampires but aren't really vampires hunter. No, I know you're not serious. This is me yelling at you in a bar territory. Don't worry. Whoops, I looked away. Stupid crit resist. Who's the more versatile war attacker, Spiral or Werewolf? You can answer later on Discord if you want. That's a tough one. Um, that's a really tough one. I'm not sure I feel confident in an actual objective answer. I think I have to give it to Spiral, but let me walk through that real quick because I completely understand why somebody would say Werewolf. Um, because he can kill a whole bunch of people through block. He has really easy access to debuffs, including through block, which makes him great for something like Polka Dot Power. I've taken that Bane Photon with him. I died because I scrubbed it up, but like he's great for it. He has the poison resistance. He just generally does more damage, is less finicky. Like I can understand why you would come away with Werewolf. I do think it's Spiral though. The main reason being that she works for more hazard shift placements. Um, her destroy is very strong. She actually has buff control, whereas Wolf just basically has buff punishment. They're locked out by the same immunity, but Spiral has much stronger extra ability accuracy, so is better at getting through glancing and the like. She has power control, whereas Wolf doesn't. Yeah, I do think it's clearly Spiral, but I'm not going to say that it's not close. Wolf is very good. It's funny, Cyber. Yeah, I need to play a bit more myself. Yeah, Werewolf is incredible. Like, Spiral capital A answers more. Werewolf can be made to work in a whole lot of places. She's so much fun. Yeah, that's fine. We don't want to burn too many. There's a way to look for it, John, but the person who used to do that in the company actually left not too long ago. And I'm not sure he taught anyone else. I certainly don't know how to look. You jerk. Excuse me. It's very, very difficult to be first. There are a lot of people out there. Maybe BT. I mentioned this in the last stream. It's never worked out before, but it's possible sometime this year. I've said it before. Ugh. I really don't like this particular node. Like, I don't mind at all asking for strikers, but gaining a like full bar and a half of power every striker and nothing outside of that is just not good for literally anyone's rotation. I hate it so much. We do, yeah, clubs. And that's probably what it is. I've just never dug around in there. Let's be real. We're using the most recent child. Welcome. Yeah, like, it's not the end of the world, but I don't really want to do this again. I don't mind these others, but let's do something. Let me boost. Yeah, it's kind of the same issue that the original EQ had, which is just that I don't think it's a good experience for there to be more paths later. Like, I don't like feeling like my progress is slowing down as I go. If anything, I want to accelerate, right? Like, that's why so many of our unique bosses feel so good. That's why something like Necropolis feels so good, because you get better at it. Each run gets faster. You get better at the boss. You get more efficient. Running into, like, you get more efficient, but also suddenly there's twice as much work to do. Just feels like so backwards to me. I really, really am not a fan of it. Yeah, I've taken that fight, John. It works well. Take care, PT. Thanks for hanging out. That's my fault again. I've never liked her, special one. What? That didn't feel right. Hey, Grass. Yeah, I'm better now. Appreciate it. I do need to get a fan in my office, though. Not enough air movement in here. Hey, Stig. That's my boy. Have I played anything new recently? I did a bit of Ember Ward this week. I didn't end up streaming it generally, but I did play it. I streamed it for my alliance. That was fun. That is a roguelike tower defense where the map is shaped by you placing Tetris blocks that you draw. Like, your deck is Tetris blocks, and then you have a set rotation of towers that you can place on the Tetris blocks. That's very fun. It's technically still in early access on Steam, but I really enjoyed that. I've been playing some Magic the Gathering Edge of Eternity's draft this week. And then one of my, yeah, I think at this point it's true, one of my all-time favorite games, Against the Storm, just recently had their 1.8 update and another DLC with a new race, and I've played a bit of that this week again. It had been a while since I'd done that. Let me look at the defenders. Okay, we need to make sure we have a bleed immune. Somebody to handle Claire's nonsense. I don't know why I clicked that. Okay. Bleed immune, bleed immune, bleed immune. Yeah, let's use Zola. Who do I want to use for Claire? She'll gain a lot of power against Skull, but he'll otherwise be good. Let's do that. And then just somebody, preferably with some healing. This is always the issue with tech. There's not a lot of proactive healing. There's kind of just resets. But Ultron has a bit. Yeah, this is maximum brightness, but it's not looking good to me. Give me a second. I'm going to turn on the overhead light, see if that changes things. Name of the first game is Ember Ward. Frequency. Big fan. I stayed up entirely too late last night watching Nagase's Battleground stream and playing an endless round of Ember Ward. I got to, I think, like wave 17. There were a lot of fireballs bouncing around. It's a good game. I'm not going to do a full spotlight with context for the rebalance batch, but I am planning on doing a changelog with context similar to the rebirth one. I'm planning on recording that later today, but I wanted to make sure the Cassandra one got out on time. Which champs do I think I'm going to rank up first? I think Viv is pretty solidly first priority for me, but after that, it's kind of a toss-up, honestly. I think Sabretooth is in last place for me, but I don't want that to read as an indictment of Sabretooth. I did my best to do him justice, right? And I think he came out well. Um, I just have more of an attachment to the others for the most part. Very possible it'll be Voodoo. Anti-Venom is a real possibility. And Cull's just a freaking sledgehammer, so it's hard to ignore that one. Do I think Sabretooth needs high sig? No, I don't think so. Not unless you're planning on blocking a lot of critical hits or just getting hit, you know? Oh yeah. Let's make sure that we heavy attack her, shall we? Alright, no more power gain for you, Claire. Hey, thanks for being a member, Doofus. I appreciate it. Yeah, Cole is scary. He's so good. Do I play any physical Magic the Gathering? Sometimes. I have a local game store I quite like. They are a ways away, though. Because I was moving, I basically didn't get to play at all during... Whoops. During Final Fantasy. Hold on. What's a guy gotta do to lose 3% health around here? Oh, now I have to back off, because that would kill her. Thank you. Voltron's too tanky, folks. You heard it here first. Oh, okay. But yeah, I played yeah, I don't think I played any Final Fantasy in paper. That was only Arena for me. I would have gone and drafted on Friday, but obviously COVID made that a bit of a problem. I am hoping to play more of Edge of Eternities. I like it quite a bit so far. Absolutely, clubs. I full transparency. Some of the designers are already planning on doing that, but there's a decent chance that will be before the rest of y'all get into town. I'm sure I could be talked into doing another, depending on how many we get together. That would be a lot of fun. You're responsible for most of my recent Steam library? That means a lot. That's cool. Do I have reduce white point turned on? I'm assuming that's like overall tablet setting. Let me go look for a minute. I might. I think it's just like a heating thing. Whenever I play for a while, this happens. Like I have True Tone on, but that's it. Night Shift isn't running. That's really all I see. Is there somewhere else I should be looking? Noted. I'll keep that in mind. I didn't realize they were 40. Jeez. Yeah, I enjoyed the set a lot. I just played it on Arena where it was normal price. I missed out on the pre-release too. I did actually try to go, but like normally the store I go to, normally their pre-releases aren't fully sold out, and Final Fantasy was well in advance, which stunk. Voodoo will probably be my priority, not even necessarily because I'd rate him the best, but he's my favorite. Yeah, I think that's very fair. I have played barely any Final Fantasy. I like at sleepovers with a friend in middle school. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy X, and I was like, "This is really cool," and then I never finished it. I like literally got to the first level or whatever, and then I have bought Final Fantasy X on Steam, and I've gotten through that same level, and then I don't know. I saw like the it was probably the first time I had to level up with that absolutely Byzantine sphere system, and I was like, is cool, but I want to go do something else. I don't know. It's on my list. I would like to play more Final Fantasy, but I'm very much a noob there. Have you ever played Pokemon? Similar, just a little bit. I did not have a Game Boy or any Nintendo systems growing up. That is one of the few things that I have to really complain about to my parents, especially given my current job. But I did the emulator thing, sorry Nintendo, when I was in college because people insisted it was time I go and play. And so I have played through Fire Red and Emerald, and I enjoyed those. But that's about it. Oh, I should also say I played a fair amount of Pokemon Stadium over at friends' houses back in the day. Or Coliseum? I don't know. One of those. Like I said, wasn't my console. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! More when I was younger too, Stig. I don't know if any of y'all remember this, but there was this game, I think it was Duel of the Roses, on the PlayStation 2. You like can't find it anywhere anymore. It makes me sad. Um, but it was like a combination. It was using Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but then there was like a chess system. I think I'm realizing, thinking back on it, it actually had some roguelite elements because you would build it was a deck builder. It was one of the first. I've just realized this now. This is one of my favorite games from childhood. And it had some roguelike deck builder elements to it. Of course it freaking did. Oh my god, I have a type. Um but yeah, so it was played on like a chessboard. But you know, if you've played Yu-Gi-Oh at all, you know that they have like land cards to shape the environment. And the way it worked was you would play a land card, and it would shape just a few cells. Um, and then like the battlefield would have several different lands active at the same time. Cards could like fuse together. You would add them to your deck. It was really cool. I it's probably aged terribly, but I really wish I could find a legit copy of that game. Because I would love to play it again. Huge thanks, Doofus. I really appreciate this. Hope everybody enjoys the members' videos if you haven't seen them before. I do need to get more of those out. I'm not really apologizing for it because I was thinking about doing more when COVID hit. But yes, I'll be looking for a way to do more of those soon. Thanks again, Doofus. That's awesome. Oh yeah, I remember I missed the actual play of that, John, but I appreciate you shouting it out. I need to go look for that. I meant to let that go longer, but that's okay. That was stupid, but that's okay. Come here. Hey, Neos. Uh, Feel free to try posting the link, John. I don't remember what my settings are. Display and text. Oh, and accessibility. I don't think I do. By default, I don't mess with those. Okay, most of these are fine. I want to make sure I have somebody good for Nefaria because he blocks out a lot. So probably future Ant-Man for him. Let's use Viv again. You're not the first person I've heard say that frequency, and I definitely see it. Because there is some real-time skill elements, but there's also a lot of knowing matchups and RPG relationships and webs. Na loves talking about this. He really... It's funny because like there are a lot of people at Kabam who I think their primary exposure to RPG relationships, other than games like Final Fantasy, is like Magic the Gathering. It's obviously a huge influence on this game. Um, for Na specifically, he doesn't play Magic the Gathering, but he has a long Pokemon background, and that's where a lot of his frame of reference comes from. It's interesting to hear the slightly different takes that creates. Right, he's not a mutant. Alright, back to the special 2 we go. Fight still works fine. No, I get you, Pablo. Yes, I'm buying $100 card. No shame. Those things get intense. Hey, do good. Delta refers to just change, right? It's in like math and science. Delta just refers to difference. Very often you'll see just like delta as in the triangle and then a variable to denote change in variable. Like when you're talking about slope, change in y over change in x can be written delta y, delta x. There's a bunch of that kind of stuff. So rewards delta just means the big difference in rewards between, yeah, Mysterium and the next. I can see why I like this game now with the card game history. Oh, yeah. One of the more senior designers on my team likes to say that Marvel Contest of Champions was a bunch of guys who got together and couldn't decide whether they wanted to make Street Fighter or Magic the Gathering, and so they kind of made both. And I think in the early days there was a bit more Street Fighter, and I'm not even sure that's fair, because we have people like Kabam Eclipse who are absolutely throwing more traditional fighting game mechanics in as time goes on. But I do think overall the balance has shifted towards MTG over the years. I hate maths. It has its uses. Jeez. Oh. Lucci baby, I'd really love for you to not be doing this. It's Fanta's pretty tanky. Hey, Joey. There's part of me that's convinced of a Mandela reality where in the first year of MCoC you could jump over your opponent and swap sides. Yeah, that is definitely a false memory, but that's a funny equivalent. That was almost so awesome. Come on, buddy. Ugh. Forgot that I need to nullify him to get around that. And my nullify isn't going to work because she doesn't have extra ability accuracy. Okay. Still alright. There she goes. I should have made a point to bring the synergy that, what you call it, gives her a power gain instead of a power steal. Update is probably not tomorrow, Gov, just because it's a Canadian holiday. That normally means there's a delay. I voted for Winter Soldier Indigo. He was one of my very early carries on this account. Thanks, Gov. I do really appreciate that. Okay. No, the game just looks so dark for me when it gets hot. It's really annoying. Because I don't think it's the game. I think it is fully my old iPad. Oops, when did Arcade not get a, Oh, that's so unfortunate. Not bad for no specials. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, statcasts will definitely help, but we talked earlier about I still think this particular relic node is hot garbage. Oof. Odd, that whiff. I haven't played Kindred in a while. Let's do that. Okay, that was just a bad dex. Ouch! Still having fun. Really helps that Kindred is close to Immortal. Oof. Sorry, Matt. Yeah, no, I know you're not poking, John. I will say I kind of doubt that that would ever be the Sunday thing, just because it feels like it's better for larger events, but you never know. See how DLL uses Patriot. I do need to. I'll catch up on my war fights. I don't need to agonize over it. My wife is out of town the entire week. I have time. Okay. Okay, that's all fine. Ring crits. And then Mystic. Is it the regen one? That's the one that annoys me. Oh, okay, it's the Nullify one. I don't mind the Nullify one. Is there anybody in particular who's dangerous in here? Don't bleed Elsa. Ideally an evade counter for Misty. Does Mystic have any evade counters that can't be purified? Because there's Sorcerer and Dragon Man Slow. There's Enchantress's Cold Snap. There's Sigil, which is Cold Snap. I'm drawing a blank. Champions, Mystic. Purgatory's passive slow, but that's not possible here. Like technically Hood's ability accuracy reduction, but let's not get cute. Okay, that is a whole. That's interesting. I mean, it's not something they badly need, right? Purify should be better against them than it is against Mutant, but kind of interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't really count Mordo. I'm definitely gonna be there, Jethro. I don't know if commentators have been picked, so I can't speak to that just yet. They have so many mystics. Let's use mystic. Oh, right, because she is skill. You're right, Elijah. Yeah, no. Brain fart on my end. Yeah, I will just bring Purgatory for that. I know Gamora's not a major defender. It is fun when Man-Thing works. Freaking slow projectiles. Would have been nice. Yeah, no, Gamora's special one. Gamora's special one when you're doing one of the 4-star challenges in Labyrinth and it can actually kill you. Terrifying. Primal fear there. Man, it's such a pity that Kate lost the 7-star vote, because, you know, all we got was this terrible character over here, Shang-Chi. I know Kate's stronger, but people sleep on Shang too much. Just watch the Cassandra Nova Spotlight. Really like her defensive design, how it emphasizes tech abilities already in the game. Yeah, I'm glad you picked up on that, Jaden. That is something that the team is intentionally trying to do, is like, when we have to ship defenders, we have to ship defenders, right? Because characters do need something to shoot for. But that's been something I've been harping on, particularly myself, is we can do a better job of reinforcing existing locks and keys, and not just always be creating new ones. Guess I'll go rank up because there's Shang-Chi. Hey, he's good. Okay, don't use Sasquatch on Deadpool. Might as well use him. You and me both, Neos. Come on, throw it. Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't want you to throw it. Now I want you to throw it. Come on! You jerk. Now I don't get a Fury. Craven! This guy! Just die. Yeah, no, the skill options for that vote were insane frequency. Stealthy also scares me. No, 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 no. In hindsight, I'm happy Kate lost. It is what it is. I don't know if Harry's here, but I guess he just re-upped his membership. Oh, no, wait. No, Harry was one of the gift ones. Never mind. Harry, are you still here? Because I know you commented about 7-star Nimrod earlier today. Okay, Purgatory. And doesn't really matter. Let's do them all. Oh, it's fun. I don't know why I did that instead of one of the damaging ones, but that's fine. Couple Furies. Couple Furies, she hits fine. Bro. Thank you. Could have played that better. Lumitrix is fun. Probably rain for them at some point. She is not being nice. Yeah, good luck, Elijah. There's a lot going on. Long shot's fun. Alright, now we use Patriot. Speaking of Elijah. Oops. That was my bad. Oh, that's right. The bug with it not resetting. That's fun. Well, that'll be fixed. Having an AC business in Florida in July. Yeah, I imagine it would. That sounds like a lot. Okay, I'm probably going to cut it here. I could go on, but I don't want to burn myself out, especially if I have a video to record today. So let's open a few things. I thought I was halfway done yesterday. Turns out I was just a third of the way done, so now I'm 2/3. Yeah, I didn't. What's funny is that, like, I played damn near perfectly with Shang-Chi and Lumitrix, and then did not play all that great with Patriot. But yes, it is quite good for that. My favorite thing about that matchup is being able to block and still gain combo during the special one, which is normally when everybody else's combo gain comes to a grinding halt. Very nice. Okay, no 7 stars today, most likely. Nice, I have the Johnny emote now. I need to get the Reed one. Oh, that wasn't quite what I meant to claim. Whatever, I'm a little on autopilot here. That's fine. I'm gonna go play some Against the Storm after this. Maybe. I might go clean first. I need to clean today. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out. And thanks again to Doofus for the member gift. Appreciate all of y'all. And see you soon. Take care, everybody.